Hello and welcome to today's video on determining the return on investment for your farm. This video is going to be a little bit longer than most, just because by necessity we have to touch on several topics in order to kind of work through the calculation. But I think it's going to be worth your while if we go all the way through. Of course, if you cannot fully 100% commit to being consistent with this farming activity for the next 12 months, don't bother with the rest of the video. It's not quite going to work out for you. Just look at these nice pictures and say, wow, that'll be me in a few years. Or you can get to work today and say, all right, I can do that next year. So on the previous video on farming, we talked about how much sweat equity versus check equity. And this really kind of gets into how much money you have in your budget and how much time you can really commit to this. For sweat equity, you may not have that cash outlay, but you certainly have opportunity cost and a bunch of other things in there that are basically substituting earnings that you could be making in place of that capital outlay. So there's a few different ways to kind of think about your sweat equity. The easiest way is to take what you made last year, divide that by the number of hours that you worked, and hey, that's how much your time is worth. And so you could say, hey, I need to be focusing on activities that make at least that much money. Or you could say, hey, I know what my expenses are for the year. Divide that by the number of hours that you have to work and say, hey, okay, I need to make at least that rate in order for my sweat equity to be worthwhile. And then you can also, substitute your check equity in for that. You can say, okay, I only have so much time, but I have a certain amount of money that I can spend on this. So how much can I trade back and forth? That number is going to be different for everyone. So this would be a good time to kind of take a couple of minutes, go ahead and pause the video, try to figure that out, or at least get a rough ballpark before we kind of move forward, because it'll make a lot more sense a little bit later on. All right, so based on the last video, you selected a market, you kind of looked up our annual sales. We had settled on Windsor Forest for our last one. It's a neighborhood that has 300 houses, had 24 sales. So we need to think about, okay, how much of that can we actually capture, and how much of that market share do we need to keep other agents from trying to come in and dominate that market? Based on a whole bunch of information out there, it seems that 30% should be not only your target to kind of really dominate a neighborhood, because that's the point where you really start to get that traction that just builds upon itself. It's also a high enough number that it's going to discourage other agents from coming in. They can look at it and say, wow, if I'm going to spend this much time and this much money on it, do I really want to compete with someone who's already taken 30% of that market, only leaving 70% for me? They're going to go find another market that they can go for the whole thing rather than just a portion. So getting back to that ratio with the 24 sales out of those 300 houses, that means we want to get 7 listings and 7 buyers. Now those 7 listings at $500 in net, get you $3,500 by the end of the year. And the 7 personal buyers at that $300,000 price point should net you $48,650. So kind of take that look and say, all right, how much am I willing to invest in order to generate that $52,000? Because once again, it's not just about the money; it's also about your time. And farming is a long play. It's going to take some time to really get this up to speed. It's not going to be an immediate thing. You're not walking up, putting your card in the machine and out spits money. This is a longer term play where once you kind of become established as the go-to resource, you're going to have a huge advantage over any other agent trying to get into that neighborhood on either side of the transaction there. So you might be thinking, wait, if we're really after personal buyers, then why are we going to be marketing towards listings? Obviously the quick answer is, that's how we get market share. But when you take a step back and you think about it, wait, everyone who's selling that house, they have to move somewhere. And how much easier is it to convert that potential buyer when you already have a relationship because you're selling their house? It's one of those things where you're right in your listing presentation when you're showing them what you're doing different from other agents in terms of marketing their properties and everything else. You just keep repeating, hey, yeah, I'm doing this to bring in buyers. I want to bring the buyer into your house. I want to go get the right buyer for you. And it's really easy to say, when you're getting into the motivational questions, where are you moving to? What's driving you there? Have you started looking yet? Hey, I'd be happy to show you. Obviously, I work with a lot of buyers. My business is about 50% buyers, 50% sellers. I can help you out there. And so it's much easier to convert that person that you're already in front of and that you already have that relationship. Now, of course, you're marketing that property as well, so you're looking to bring in another buyer there. So you're actually trying to pick up 2 or even 3 buyers off of that one listing. And so that's why we're looking at pulling up listings in that one neighborhood and kind of really establishing you as the go-to person. So how are we going to do this? Where are we allocating all of our resources? You're going to get sick and tired of hearing me talk about Facebook, but until some other resource comes along that has that reach and that low cost, you're never going to hear me not talk about it. Targeted ads, that's taking everything that we're doing on Facebook up a notch. Over the last couple of years, Facebook has pretty much killed organic reach for business pages, and now if you want to reach your target audience, you have to spend a little bit of money. Notice I said a little bit there. It doesn't take a lot. Local presence, we can reach 10 million people online all you want, but until you actually get in front of them, you're not going to convert very many of them. It's just human nature. We want to see a face. We want to be able to, attach a person to this, nebulous online presence. And so you're going to need to be there. And then we're also going to talk about old school methods, such as direct mail, that are more expensive. They're underutilized, but they can certainly help you establish and grow your market share. All right, so Facebook again. So we're going to start out talking about some free things you can do with Facebook and then go up into some low-cost things. So you pick up a listing. Well, now what? Okay. As soon as you walk out of that house with a listing agreement, pull up Facebook, just do a quick little Facebook live video post of, hey, we just signed this listing agreement at 123 Main Street. We don't have it up on the market yet. It's going to take a week or so to get pictures and everything in. It's 2,500 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms in the Coronado neighborhood. If you're looking to buy in this neighborhood, give me a call and I can show you the house before we even get it up on the market. Here's my contact information. Just post that. You put that up on Facebook. You're helping to generate some buyer interest. The seller, they're extremely ecstatic. I mean, you're already marketing for them before the sign's even out in the yard. Plus, you can post that video up to YouTube, so whenever anyone does a Google search for the address, what's the first thing that's going to pop up? Your video saying, hey, I'm the agent, call me. So it really kind of, you get several things out of that one quick little video. When you do go and put that yard sign out, go ahead and do another quick video. Hey, this is Chad Hensel. Once again, I'm out here in front of 123 Main Street. We got the yard sign in the yard here. We're going live today. It's just another opportunity to kind of reach out and have a silly little script. If you want to look up Doug Wolf out of Hampton Roads, he does these all the time. I swear to God, the dude does like 50 of these a month. He's great. He keeps it really lighthearted. He has some good ideas for scripting that I just can't touch. So check him out if you want to do that. Same thing. Anytime you go under contract, you can just be in the office. You don't have to be in front of that house. Say, hey, once again, this is Chad coming to you. I wanted to give you an update on 123 Main Street. We've got under contract in 23 days, which is much faster than our market average here at 54. If you were interested in getting your home sold that quickly and for full price, give me a call. Give me your contact information. When we're closing and you go and pick up the yard sign to remove it, same thing. Another one. Hey, this is Chad Hensel coming to you from 123 Main Street. We just closed today. We saved these sellers $7,000 and we got their home sold faster than our market average. Kind of walk them through it a little bit. Yeah, we did this, we did that. Give them a little bit of information. Give them a reason to reach out and get in contact with you. So, this one little listing, we've picked up at least 4 different contact points. We can do several more throughout the campaign. But these are free Facebook Live ads or Facebook Live videos. You don't pay anything for them. You can get them up there and start getting contacts from them. It's the silliest thing that we're not making the standard and we're not doing it just as a regular course of business. So, okay. So once we have the yard sign out there, we have a couple of videos up. If you look in the Facebook lead gen videos that we're going into, it's a really quick and easy way to market properties specifically to those very, very targeted buyers that you're not going to get through the MLS. This is going to be attacking people in a completely different route. Now, I want to take a step back for a moment and say, okay, I'll only spend about $50 at a time on Facebook ads. You can really kind of tweak what you're doing there without spending a whole lot of money, but it's enough to get results quickly. And loan officers will be more than happy to help you pay for this. They need leads too. Anytime you're generating buyers, that's potential business for them, especially if you're sharing the leads or working out some kind of referral type of thing. But they have agents and teams coming to them asking to share Boomtown and all this other stuff, and they're literally asking these loan officers for thousands of dollars a month. You come in asking for $50 at a time, like they won't even blink. They'll be more than happy to help you out there. So, all right, so you put these ads up, you're getting all these contacts coming in. This is your great chance to convert those people into those buyers into actual clients. Especially for coming soon. Hey, I can show you this before it even goes on the market. Let's take a quick peek. You're going to have your lead capture form in there. Sometimes people might push back and say, oh, I don't want to give you this information, or why would you even ask for this? Say, hey, right now you're just someone that we're talking to through the internet. It's for my safety and for the safety of the seller's property. I just need some way to be able to vet you and to see if you're a real person. Like, I hope you understand where I'm coming from. When would be a good time to look at the property? Like, it's just one of those things, you just kind of roll it right into it, just slide right past the objection. So once you get them in there, okay, that house isn't for them, but they like the neighborhood. Turn that into a quick little video also. Say, hey, all these sellers out here in Coronado Park, I have these great buyers here, Phil and Janet. They love the neighborhood, but we can't find anything in the MLS. I've combed through everything in the coming soons. If you were thinking of selling, or if you know anyone in the neighborhood that's thinking of selling, let me know as soon as possible so we can show Phil and Janet the house here, and we can save everyone's money and keep on moving. So there you go. You're turning it around and you're drumming up more listing leads based off of these buyers that are coming in based off your other listings. And so you kind of get the cycle going. And that really comes into your local presence. At that point, you're all over their Facebook page. You're all over the internet. They see you on YouTube. You're there all the time. So now we're going to getting into that next step. It's the one-to-one relationships where you can get in front of people. I always like to say, hey, let's sponsor an HOA meeting. For $50, you can get a nice table. Put out some sandwiches, some cookies, beverages, that kind of thing. And of course, your marketing materials there. And once again, plenty of other vendors will be more than happy to help you split that marketing share, whether it's a loan officer or if it's an HOA meeting, like a lawn care service would probably be super happy to jump in on that, or a handyman. Kind of anyone else that's trying to get in there would be more than happy to help you out. Door knocking, it's a free activity. You don't have no monetary outlay. For redefined offices, we have the nice little pre-made door hangers for you, so you just kind of go through them one by one. And once again, because we're not targeting ginormous neighborhoods, you can knock these out in just a few hours, for a couple of days a week, and within a week or two, you've knocked on every door in the house. They have your door hangers. They're seeing you on Facebook. They're seeing you at the HOA. At this point, you're a real person who's serious about business. You're not just some fly-by-night agent who's kind of popping in, try to get one listing, and then fly back out. And then once people do come in, if you kind of take charge of the welcome wagon, go to the craft store, go buy 5 or 10 little baskets, and then go to the other local neighborhood businesses and say, hey, at the pizza shop, I'm putting together, this little welcome packet for everyone that's coming in. Do you mind if I share your menus? Put them in there. Same thing with the coffee shop and, all those nice little neighborhood businesses that aren't the big giant chains. You can put all their stuff in that little basket, along with, of course, your information in there, some HOA information. I like to create shopping maps, which I'll show you how to make those in Canva in another video. And so you put all these, this local information together, along with, a couple little snacks and treats, a couple of cookies or some muffins or something. So when someone moves into the neighborhood, that's a really easy door knock. Hey, this is Chad Hensel. I'm an agent with Redefine Real Estate. I saw you just moved in. Welcome to the neighborhood. Here's the information that you might need. If you need anything at all, give me a call. I know plenty of great vendors around here that do lawn care and gutter cleaning and all that kind of thing. Just, it's great to have you in the neighborhood, and we'll see you around. And just move on. Like, how grateful will they be? And then plus all those local businesses, you're giving out their information. It's easy to go to them and say, hey, I'm not charging for this. I'm doing the service for you. Do you mind if I go ahead and put up my flyers in your business? So you just get a little, clear plastic little frame that you can put like a full-size picture in with a little card holder or brochure holder on it. Go ahead and stock that up, and it's a good chance. It gives you a good reason to go back to that business and create that relationship with the owner. Say, oh hey, I'm just back here to restock this. Hey, by the way, can I grab a slice? How's business? And so that helps entrench you in the neighborhood. And then once again, these business owners, they're talking to tons of people, all day long. Real estate gets brought up every now and then. Say, yeah, this guy over here, he's great. He hands out all my paperwork. He really knows the neighborhood. This is the guy you should call. And it's really about building that presence and getting other people involved for you there. Once again, it's going to be extremely low cost, and you can even get other people to help kind of pitch in and fill that out for you. Looking at the old school, we're getting into the open houses. I mean, typically, you put it up on the MLS or in Zillow, and maybe Craigslist. Go buy an ugly generic sign from Home Depot, stick that up, in the yard, a couple of directionals, and call it a day. Well, we want to kind of take it up that next step. In another video, we're going to show you how to advertise this with geotags and geofencing on Facebook, and to make sure that it's being targeted only to people that are going to be looking in that neighborhood. It'll be a great way to reach a ton of people and get them to that open house. You can get some custom printed signs from a local sign printing shop for like $5-10 each. Go pick up half a dozen of them. Make it this nice big thing that's really going to kind of point out where you are and what you're doing. It's going to create a much better presentation and presence than just a silly little yard sign with a couple of balloons attached to it. Direct mail. It's an awesome tool to kind of hit an entire neighborhood or an entire mail route. It's not amazingly expensive on a cost per house, but just the sheer volume that you're doing, this can add up. If you're trying to reach if you're trying to reach a 500 house farm, you can kind of, depending on the service or whatever that you're using, you can kind of knock that price down to $150-200 per mailing. Once again, go contact another vendor. Call your favorite loan officer back up again and say, hey, I'm doing some postcards. You want to split the cost? You can put all of your stuff on the, as the agent, you put all your information that you're trying to convey on the front. Give the back to the, loan officer. Let them put their little, spiel on there. A lot of times they'll cover 30, 40, or even 50% cost of the card. So, you can knock that price down there as well. So once again, at this point now, you're reaching people on their Facebook page. They're seeing you, your presence online and YouTube and that kind of stuff. They're seeing you at the HOA meetings. You're out there. They're seeing your face and everything at the local businesses. Now you're in their mailbox. The entire point is to generate lots of these little contact points so that you become the resource for real estate in that chosen market. And okay, so let's take a look at our results here. The results, of course, going to vary based on the size of the market, your sweat equity, the amount of check equity that you're putting into it, and most importantly, how consistent you're being with your marketing activities. Traditionally, you want to put about 20% of that net number into the amount of work and time and activities that you're putting into this. So for a 300 house market worth $52,000 net, that 20% investment that we're looking at is $10,400 worth of time and money. Now remember, your time is worth something. So even these activities that don't have a cash outlay, they do have a time outlay. And that's why you really need to think about what your time is worth. But with this ratio of 20%, for every dollar that we're putting in, if we're getting that 30% result, the 30% market penetration, we should be getting $4 back. And that's a fantastic return. Anyone in the world would take that hands down every time and do it over and over again. So let's say, okay, we're still chasing the same neighborhood. We're not quite as successful. It's our first year. We made some mistakes. And we're only getting a 15% market share instead of that 30%. Even if you're still spending the exact same amount of money, that $10,400, we're still going to net $15,600, after expenses and time spent. This is giving you $1.50 for every dollar you're investing. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but think of this. If you could go to the bank and they gave you $1.50 for every dollar you're depositing, you're going to keep doing it, right? Again and again. Yeah, you're going to start giving them much bigger amounts of money. Here's $1,000. Here's $10,000. Yeah, you're going to take that money back. So don't get caught up on exactly what this is, because really any activity, and as long as you're staying consistent with it, is going to get you results. Now, as a parting thought, farming, it's a long-term business strategy. It might take a couple of years for you to really get the higher end results that have those higher payoffs. And that's fine, because what you're doing is building a solid and stable base for your business. It's really about creating what Warren Buffett calls a moat. It's that margin of safety that is going to be very difficult for other agents to overcome and very difficult for them to duplicate. I mean, if you think about it, if you've been in that market for, let's say, 3 years and you've spent, that 10 grand every year, you've now invested $30,000 into that neighborhood. What are the odds that someone in the neighborhood does not already know that you are the realtor for the area? They're pretty low. So for another agent to come in and try to nudge you out or to really take any kind of meaningful market share, they're going to have to absolutely bombard that neighborhood with $20,000 or $30,000 in a single year just to already kind of come up to where you are now. Plus, you've been doing all these other activities like the welcome wagon for other people that are coming in. You're going to be asking for referrals. You're going to be holding competitions and be at HOA meetings. Like, these are things that are not easy to reproduce, especially in scale and over time. And so that's where you become the vital resource, and that separates you by far from anyone else. And then once you kind of own one neighborhood, what's to stop you from taking over the next? It's the exact same skill set, the same resources. Everything's the same. You're just looking for a new area to do it. I mean, if you don't want to travel very far, what's the neighborhood next to the one that you're targeting now? Or, if you happen to like that particular builder, how much credibility do you have if you can walk into a new neighborhood on your first appointment there and say, oh, we have this same floor plan at 123 Main Street. Yeah, we sold that for $350,000. I love your counter upgrades. That marble looks absolutely fantastic, and I really love the larger deck back there. You have a great view. I think given this neighborhood and the upgrades that you've done to this property, you could get $425,000 for it. How much credibility does that instantly lend you when you can walk in with knowledge of the floor plan, the upgrades, the whole deal? Because you've already built all of that knowledge base by working in the previous neighborhood with that same from that same builder. So it is the sky's kind of the limit on how you want to take this and what you want to do with it. The entire point here is to really, you're building systems into your business. You're not relying on all these one-off leads that come from Redefy. This is you saying, no, I'm taking control of this into my own hands. And I'm going to start right here and work out from there. So, as always, if you have any questions, please reach out. Feel free to leave a comment, send me an email, text, call. I'm more than happy to talk. Thank you for watching.